Okay, I'm live. It's the Nazarite, bringing you Hebrew lore from days of yore. If faith, spirituality, religion, self-development are part of your thing, hit that subscribe button. I haven't said that in a few videos, and I felt like it, so I did. And this is another teaching from the Midrash, if I'm not mistaken, which I love. This is the one of Rabbi Akiva, who was a sage from the era of the Second Temple. So when Moses ascends to Mount Sinai, our sages teach us that God revealed to him, showed to him all of the wise men and women that are to follow in his footsteps. So he showed him his legacy, the carriers of the spiritual torch, and from then until the end of days. Moses is known as the father of the prophets, even though there were prophets before him. Because of this, he was this root connection between the divine and the people. And that's what that was. So there was one sage in particular which caught Moses' attention, and he had to stop and look at this guy, and he witnessed him teaching. And he said, God, why, if this guy exists, why am I the lawgiver? Why not he give the people the Torah? How come I'm doing it? And God told him, be silent, don't question me about that. That's my thing. So who was this Rabbi Akiva? So Rabbi Akiva ben Yosef, lived at the time of the Second Temple. He's one of the great Mishnah, the Tanaim, one of the great Mishnah people, if you will, in the oral traditions. And he has a very interesting story. I won't get into the whole thing. I'll put a link down there. But the thing about Rabbi Akiva, and this is why this is a motivation video, is because he didn't know his ABCs, his Aleph Bet, his alphabet, until he was 40. He was a man who, his past, let's say, is kind of controversial, at least in the oral traditions, only somewhat. But he wasn't a great learned individual or intellectual. And then when he reached 40, he decided, I'm going to do this. I'm going to start from zero. And he sat down and he started learning his Aleph Bet, his alphabet, at the age of 40. He wasn't too proud and he wasn't too set in his ways, and he tackled it with everything he had. And later on, we see he was one who was worthy in the eyes of Moses to have the Torah be given by him. And there's a wonderful postscript to that sight, that visual trip that God showed Moses through the spiritual wormhole. It's when Moses got to where Rabbi Akiva was teaching, right? He was transported there, so to speak, and he could not understand a word of what Rabbi Akiva was saying. He was teaching Torah, he was teaching a class, right? Students, and Moses did not understand a single word. And then one of the students asks him a question, Rabbi Akiva, he asked him a question, and Rabbi Akiva said, that's what we know to be the law of Moses from Sinai. And then Moses said, okay, I see the connection now, which is where, again, that root prophet vibe comes in. Moses is the father of the prophets, but Rabbi Akiva is a story that I always think about, because it's the saying, life begins at 40. It was so literally the case for that individual. And I'm still young, I'm not even 40 yet, but I don't need to wait till I'm 40. I want to get that motivation to learn my alphabets now. I want to have the humility. I want to learn from Rabbi Akiva to tackle things with everything that I have, and to be motivated by the things that I'm getting from creation, from the feedback that I'm getting, the feedback I'm creating. The only reason why Rabbi Akiva could go there and do that at age 40 is because he was really inclined to do it. He wasn't forced to do it. It was a choice. He saw something, an opportunity, he perceived a possibility, and he went for it. I think that's what great people do. So this is winter motivation, because it's March and we're in the dead of winter. And I, as I've mentioned many times, I'm not a winter person. It's just, I realize the importance, we need the rain, all that, but I'm not a winter person. So let's learn from Rabbi Akiva to be humble and to have the courage to start things over and not become too set in our ways, and be able to perceive possibilities and follow through and execute and tackle them with everything that we have. And I have no doubt that it was difficult for him. He sat down there, a 40-year-old man with 5- and 6-year-olds learning the alphabet, but he did it. And even if you only take this as, as an allegory or a story, or if you don't believe these kinds of sages even existed, let alone a spiritual wormhole through which Moses witnessed him thousands of years later, that's irrelevant. We can learn a lot from these stories. They're archetypal stories. It's overcoming adversity and being able to sow those seeds of a better future, even in the dead of winter. Let's have a good one. See you in the next video.